I put out a post on YouTube today asking for some viewer-suggested runs, and the most popular one was based around using boss weapons against them, essentially becoming the boss and defeating them at their own game. After all, I have been fighting monsters for a very long time in this game. I think it's about time that I become one myself. So this is only 2 boss cell, because the way this is going to work is it's kind of a play on my usual single weapon runs, where for the first part of this, I'm going to be using the weapon that the first boss that I'm going to be fighting uses, i.e. the Flint versus the Concierge. After that, after I beat the Concierge, I'll only be using the Giant Whistle until I'm able to beat the Giant. And finally, the Symmetrical Lance until I'm able to beat the Hand of the King, or perish trying. I suppose we'll see how that goes. It's definitely an interesting type of run, a little bit different from the usual sort of single weapon fare, because I do get some different weapons over the course of this, and new ones at that. I mean, the latest update, after all, has been all about getting weapons from bosses, and I've been neglecting it a little bit. It's why I wanted to do some viewer-suggested type of things, because for whatever reason, doing the Gungeon series that I've been doing, it's just been so much easier knowing that it's like, this is what people voted for, this is... that was... well, no, I still got hit anyway. Oh well, I'll deal with it. For some reason, for me, it's... Usually I'm very neurotic and very, meticulous with how I make episodes, usually for the worse. Not in a way that makes it better, but just in a way that makes it take longer. Perfection is the enemy of progress and all that. So, just something about knowing that it's like, this is what people voted for, this is what people want to see, has just made me so much more motivated. I can't really put my finger on exactly how, but it's just been so much easier to do that series versus just about anything else I've ever done. So I think that opening that up for Dead Cells is good because, hell, this is my marquee series, and I want to try to put out as much content for it as possible. I just got to get over my own neuroses related to it. And then it's gravy. Although I do want to say that I did fully expect when I put out that question that, yeah, I don't really see any reason why I shouldn't be able to take 2 of the same weapon here, especially knowing how much more powerful this one is going to be. I fully expected, because I did open it up to any suggestions, anything at all. You could even, like, choose what I was going to be talking about over the course of this episode, or, you know, just say, I don't want to see Dead Cells, I want to see you play Hollow Knight again. I would have done it. Oh, you don't think that I have a love for the absurd enough that I would choose to, you know, let's just, I don't like taking that much extra damage, that I wouldn't choose to do something just completely out of left field if people decide to vote for it? Oh, I certainly would. Would not even hesitate to do so. I mean, really, I broke out my emergency bottle of Hennessy because I thought that people were going to be asking me, hey, take a shot every single time you get hit in a run. That's the sort of thing that people would definitely be voting on. But no, I just got that. I just got my big bottle of Hennessy sitting next to me here. Completely, you know, not useful at all. Let's say, how about, like, a lot of blind face stuff? I'm definitely going to be going survival for this run, so... How about gastronomy? I almost never use this thing. Sure. But yeah. You know what? Give me 1 second. Here. Valet, come over here. Please take away the bottle of Hennessy. I'll call for its return when I'm done with this run. Yes, I know it's very large. I buy these things in bulk. Just grab onto it with both hands. Okay, there. Now I won't be distracted by that this entire run. Who knows? Maybe it'll come up a little bit later, but... I mean, I was able to rally up almost all of that damage immediately, but that was still a little bit annoying. And still, like I said, can't take the Giant's Whistle until I actually am going to be fighting the Giant. And then it's only the Giant's Whistle, which is going to be an interesting time. If I get enough stats, should be totally okay, especially knowing that I'm only on 2-cell mode, but I can easily see it also turning sour if things don't turn out ideally. Not working on 5-cell mode, which they did put on a little bit of a rider in the suggestion saying, hey, if you think you can do it on 5-cell mode, and I'm like, single weapon runs? Even if I was using the full run with all 3 of the items that I'm going to be using over the course of this, I think I'd still have a hard time, especially knowing how rough the giant can be in general. So, 2-cell, and I'm going to be very, very limited in how I'm using these items, but I think it should be okay anyway. I don't even know what I was trying to go for here. I can't take any of these yet. Eventually, certainly. And the route I'm going to be taking through the game is going through here, going through Ramparts, I believe, was it? No. It wasn't Ramparts. It was the Ossuary, and then getting into the Sepulchre, and from there fighting the giant, which I think should be available on 2-cell mode. I'm fairly certain that's the cutoff point. Oh well, if it's not, I will go through in a different way and make sure that I adhere to these runs as much as possible. That is the plan right now. Of course, the only real... like I said, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to do anything for my dear, dear audience. At least as well as I possibly can. Who knows? Some of these things might be a little too difficult. For example, trying to go for like a cursed sword run. I don't... kind of one that got pretty popular there last I checked. Although, if I was going to guess what the next run is going to be, let's just say it'll be quite the My Bloody Valentine. That made no sense at all, but you understand what I'm going for. It's a bleed focus build. It's basically the one that I did do on Valentine's Day, now that I'm thinking about it. But that will be for another time. This time, I'm getting dangerously close to getting 60 kills, so I'm going to really make an attempt here. I think going for the shorter hits... Yeah, now that I have a little bit more experience with the flint, now that I've done the episode with it and all that, I do have a much better idea of how to use this. A little bit touch and go with the start here, but it's slowly and surely becoming better and better over time. And as soon as I start to really get a ton of survival, I can see this working out just fine, at least for the first half of the game. I still don't think it's an amazing weapon, however, I do think that for 2-cell mode, first half of the game, it is more than acceptable. You just gotta make sure that you are very, very careful, cautious, calm, cool, collected when you're using it. And not to try charging it up at a point in time where it's going to be a little dicey of a situation. Go with a quick hit. Go with a quick hit. And only use the charge up when you are absolutely sure that you can. After all, the quick hit still does okay damage, it just doesn't do as good. Especially on 2-cell mode, I think it's going to be just fine. Oh, that was I felt like it was a frame-perfect type of trick that I pulled off. Hey, 60, cool. Frame-perfect type of trick that I pulled off there where I managed to start charging up the weapon as soon as I grabbed onto the side there. So I kind of popped up above this with the weapon already charged. Hard to say, but play back the footage. You'll see what I mean. The only thing that I probably wouldn't do with some of these runs is something like the Facecam or something like that. I know that that's something that could be... I can't believe I managed to survive that. I know that's something that could be a request here, but I adamantly refuse. And not even just for the flimsy... Oh yeah, I will take that. Gold as well as a cell is definitely going to be very useful, because I will probably need to go buy a bunch of the later stuff. It's always one of those things that I give the very flimsy rhetoric about, like, oh, I don't want people to find me in real life. They know what I look like and all that. But really, I just don't want people judging me, getting a little bit of prejudice due to seeing my face before they even hear anything that I say. You know how a picture's worth 1,000 words and all that? It's like, I'm not even going to be able to get out those 1,000 words if people look at me and they're like, oh, well, I'm never going to listen to this guy again. I still don't. Maybe someday I'll actually do Facecam, but I do not think that's going to be anytime soon. Besides, the other and a little bit more sinister reason behind that is because as soon as you see me when it comes to Facecam, I also get to see myself, or more specifically, how everybody else sees me. That's one of those things where when you're talking to somebody in real life, they're gonna go a little bit easy on you. They're gonna sugarcoat it. Not so with the internet. If people actually see what you look like with all your blemishes and imperfections, then They will not hesitate. It's going to be a blunt and artless mirror that is the internet. And if I'm doing that just because people suggested it, that's going to be a bad time for me. I am not prepared. Somebody of my disposition? No way. 15 seconds, nice. So I would rather at least keep that under wraps for the time being. Because when it comes to telling people everything that's wrong with how they look, it's usually done through the art of unflattering celebrity comparisons. And oh boy, if I can get away with never having that happen to me, that would only be good. I mean, it's the idea of this, like, hey, you look like this guy who is definitely not known for how good they look. And it's like, clutching my heart in pain. It's like, wait, what's the problem? I mean, you look exactly like them. And besides, they're a celebrity. How could you take offense at being compared to a celebrity? And then I would just collapse on the floor into a pile of dust and blow away in the wind. You know, in some ways, if people really did badge me about it, I almost want to take them down. I got the sweep myself, after all. I'd almost want to do that just so that I could start reconstituting myself from the pile of ash that I turned into. But it's just, I don't think I'm ready for it. I can't deal with that sort of capital T truth. And I mean, the fact that I'm already thinking about it so much, even though nobody has suggested it, should tell you that I'm not prepared. Maybe one day. But man... Oh, yeah, so that's a little look into my psyche when I'm just like, what would happen if somebody actually did want me to do Facecam, like, for real? And there you go. Did get hit there, but I might still be able to get the 60 kills, and I would really like to right now, as well as go for as many points of, as many stats vis-a-vis curses as possible, but, sweepers are rough to do, especially if you're using a survival-focused build, which I absolutely am. I have totally committed to that at this point. It was player's choice for mutations and everything like that, which, thank you for letting me know. Oh, right, this is not 5-cell mode. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. Nice. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it's like... does make it a little bit easier, but also a little bit less predictable. Just, come on now. Get out of here. At least let me sell this so you're not getting a big old buff on you right now. But yeah, aside from that, if you want to go get in on the fun, go vote for it. Still on the channel and ready to go right now. And I will be doing whatever people say. I don't even care if they manage to get to the top of the heap and then edit their comment to be something else. I'll still do it. I'm always somebody who is more than willing to choose the most chaotic option when it comes to creating content, after all. For God's sake, I played through 3.5 hours of Hollow Knight kind of as a gag. I mean, I would consider that a gag. And there. Ooh, a little bit rough. I am not looking forward to when I'm going to have to do cursed sword runs. And I did also see somebody suggest doing a use what you see, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Use what you see is pretty fun. It's just, oh, he's already gearing up. Use what you see is pretty fun, but at the same time, it's also like, my God, that is nightmarish knowing this current situation that we're in with Dead Cells, that you're really supposed to be using custom mode, and you're supposed to be definitely not just you, especially on like 5-cell mode. You need to have a build that works with each other. If you're just taking whatever the game happens to give you, it's a nightmare. I tried it once earlier. I don't remember how long ago it was at this point, but it just was a disaster. It's like using a hoe or something like that. Which, hey, I mean, wouldn't really surprise me if, however, if the way that the... Ooh, a legendary weapon? I take a legendary... Oh, no, this is only 2-cell mode. Legendary items don't have the 3 stats on them, so it's not nearly as good, but still interested in what I'm going to get. Could also just be a stat. That would be quite good with the survival build, but that's not what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. 40%, just no downsides, please. As always, survival has some of the best affixes that you can possibly get on here. And knowing that I don't have to deal with malaise, that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to using these runs. So even if it's only a single weapon for the time being, I can still get so much use out of this. I am curious as to how exactly the giant fight is going to go. If it is really just, like, either so slow as to be unbearable, or just the damage is bad, because I know that... I'm pretty sure the hands also have the damage reduction that every boss just has naturally, so... It might be that I'm barely tickling that dude, and with something that has a 30-second cooldown or so, that's not going to make for the best television. So, if it's going really poorly, I might take out my hoe. But that's the only reason. I will really give an attempt first, and if it's just not happening, if I can't seem to make it function regardless of how hard I am getting the giant to punch himself, I'm pulling the old schoolyard trick of stop hitting yourself on him, then I'll switch over. But I want to try to adhere to these runs as much as I possibly can. I just think that that's going to make for the truest to life promises that I am doing here. Okay. There we go. I definitely... 10 survival is not a ton. It's enough to be pretty good right now. It's enough to clear out most of the stuff, most of the enemies that I'm coming up against in a single hit on 2-cell mode. At least I can only hope. If nothing else, I also do have a hunk of watermelon right over there. Oh, by the way, that's another thing you can suggest. Changes to the... gotcha. Foodstuffs, if you want to see something a little bit different. I don't really use monster food too much. I wouldn't be opposed to doing it. Castlevania-esque is one of my favorites. Haven't seen that one in a while, because I gotta stay on brand, what with the fruit. I didn't know that those guys had dodge rolls. Oh, that's cute. That's actually really adorable. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to like dealing with it, but it is good to know for the future, and it's nice to actually recognize the hard work the Motion Twin and, I guess, Evil Empire at this point. Now they've kind of gotten a splinter group off to specifically work on this game. Sort of work that they put into that. Lot of money, which is good. I need as much money as I possibly can get, as you know. And actually, even if I eat the watermelon right now, I won't get a full heal, so I guess I might as well just throw it down my gullet or absorb it into my cloud face. I really don't know how the hero eats food, but, yeah, he definitely do. Anyway, it's... I mean, much like the actual concierge hitting you with his own weapon, it's not really the easiest thing, but if I just keep exploiting the sweeping attack, the big, huge fire... this thing, can probably still get some good damage on that anyway. Just gotta make sure that I don't stand directly next to him when he puts the... barrier up. Take a ton of damage due to that. Because that is definitely a possibility. Also, you guys, you have tiny little baby swords. How are you swinging them slower than I'm swinging this gigantic fist on a stick? Look, I'm not telling you how to do your job. I know that being that you just fly everywhere, you probably don't have the most impressive muscle mass. But still, I feel like if you are of such military elite that they let you have a jetpack, you should at least be a little bit faster on using your sword. Even if this is a cursed chest, I don't know if I'm going to take it, just because I don't feel confident in my ability to deal with it. Doesn't matter anyway, because it's not. According to the giant. And yes, as much as I would like to take that into this upcoming fight, I just don't think it's going to happen. And besides, I'm also... You know, I was saying this like I don't really want to take too much damage, but that's not really that big of a deal. This ain't Gungeon, after all. I can take as much damage as I want because I don't really need the legendary weapon. The legendary weapon on 2 cell mode is not going to be nearly as worth it as it is on 3+ cell mode. So I can just forget about that, maybe take a couple bits of damage purely for the sake of speeding up the fight and be totally fine. At least that's the way I look at it. We'll kind of see how that works out, because I might be... There's always a good chance that you're going to be taking a little bit more health than you think you're going to. That is just a fact of life, after all. This isn't high cell difficulty, where that definitely would be happening. However, it's still something to be concerned about anyway. Yeah, I didn't get the 60 kills, unfortunately. I am glad to see that I am finally unlocking some of this stuff. I've been putting that off for a while because, you know, you don't have access to the collector in 5 cell mode. As much as I would like to reroll this, just get some more survival. That would also put me down to like 2 or 1 points of brutality, so maybe not the worst thing. That inside could be okay if I really wanted to go for that. Necromancy is always a great take. I mean, you've heard my bit on that so many times. How about something like disengagement? Or instinct? No, that's going to be hard to use after this point, so acceptance would be okay, but you know what, let's take acceptance, and then I will just sell all of the food that I come up against past this point, because I won't be using it. I don't want to get cursed. And instead, the ability to get that damage buff for, what, 5 minutes? Yeah, 300 seconds? Never really exploited that too much. Definitely think I could get some good usage out of it. I mean, it's okay. Obviously, the double hit is more worthwhile. Yeah, well, he's not using his, damage barrier when I'm that close to him. Being in melee range, much like the man himself, is... Also, if I just hit him immediately after he hits me, I am able to rally up a lot of the damage I take, allegedly. Okay, whatever. I don't even care too much about taking any extra damage past this point. And actually, 2 cell mode, I should be able to get the big damage increase. I should be able to, but I'm clearly not. Okay, well, that's working out anyway. Besides, either area that I go to next, as long as I go to the Sepulchre, because I know that was the other route suggestion that I was told. That was kind of cool. I didn't think I'd be able to cleave him in the air when he's jumping at me, but... And then still manage to also get the dodge at the last second, too. Pretty cool. Yeah, okay, but I've got to be a little bit careful. Yeah. I don't like getting knocked out of my animation there, because I could just charge that up and then nail him with the shockwave. Nail him with the shockwave immediately. Yeah. Immediately after, I was going to say. Okay, got to be a little bit careful here. Okay, definitely got to be a little bit careful here. gotta stop. Let's just go for the shockwave past this point and... And... There. Boy, howdy. Anyway, either of the 2 areas that I'm going to be going next to, I'll be able to get a little bit of... Yoink. I'll be able to get a little bit of healing just from buying stuff from the food shop. That's what I'm trying to say. And not buying fruit, because that's not going to help. I'm going to use my potion charge right now. No question. And aside from that, yeah, we're good, we're good. There's still one more thing that I got to get, but I cannot... I don't know where to get it. The Predator mutation is one of the ones that I'm still missing as of just yet. It's probably from the Timekeeper characters, the automatons. I keep wanting to say automatons, and that is anything but correct. Enemies... Wait, no, I'm already forgetting exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. This run was simple. I outlined it in what I thought was a very clear way, and then I immediately forgot myself what it was supposed to be, clearly. Okay, well, I'm not going to be taking too much for... not going to be taking too much for, like, fighting individual enemies. However, I'll be able to defeat elites very easily. I'll be able to defeat elites very easily, and also individual enemies that happen to get in my way. Which is fine by me. Those are kind of the two most important characters to be fighting anyway. The general lack of cooldown reduction is going to be kind of an issue, but I'll survive. Going to be a little bit of sneakiness. But when the sneakiness is over, the pain begins. And that's sort of the name of the game from here until I actually go fight the giant. Which I'm very, very glad that I do not have to go through the cavern to do that. Could have easily said that I had to go through the cavern. But no, said the sepulcher. Said the sepulcher, and I mean, my hands are tied. I have to go by the letter after all. I have to enforce the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. Should at least be easy to take out curses, even though it might be a little bit slow going. That's one of the great things about using the giant whistle, after all. You really don't have to be any... It's survival scaling, and it's survival scaling that works a lot in the same way that damage over time does, where you don't even have to be near these fools to have it work on them. Alright, just a little bit more. And I guess technically, I don't know, I could probably use dive attack. I think you could justify doing that. The only thing is, I don't want to. I wanna really go by how this run is allegedly supposed to go, I think. Oh, right. Doesn't work on enemies that are invisible. Even if I do know they're there, they have to be visible for the giant to actually be able to punch them. I don't really know exactly how that works, because after all, the giant does not have eyes, being a giant skeleton, but... Hey. That's how it goes. I didn't make the rules, I just follow them. Especially because they're enforced by the game. Alright, come on now. I mean, very few enemies do have eyes. I guess maybe the points of light in their face are kind of considered light receptors in one way or another. That's the only justification that I could possibly have for this. Really would like to get a secondary whistle at some point in time, but, well, got some time till that may or may not happen. Oh, and I do think that extended healing is only going to be working on my basic attacks, my main hand attacks, rather than the whistle, which is too bad, but, I mean, I'll deal. As there is, there still should be plenty of lambs to the slaughter for even working with just killing regular enemies, period. Whether it's getting rid of curses, getting money, whatever you need at this particular point in time, the giant will provide via fist. Via big, huge fist. Well, apparently I managed to dodge the golem in that area. There's always a golem in every one of the areas, and it didn't seem to see me there. Which is good, because now I'm prepared to be fighting anything. After all, the only thing that can defeat a golem very easily is... Hello. It is me. The only thing that can defeat a golem very easily is a gigantic fist. A bigger fish. That almost worked. You can't tell me it didn't. I'll be back for you. Well, after the fight, but I mean, I can still, you know, prepare for it, prepare myself for it, you know, psych myself up a little bit, get encouraged to take that when the time comes, because it's going to be oh so sweet. Hello. I love that it cancels out their animation to put them in kind of a resting animation, but it looks as if they are contemplating the last seconds of their life before they are punched into oblivion. And that is the sort of little touch that I can appreciate when using a weapon like the Giant's Fist. I do think that a certain spinning weapon, I'm still going to continue calling that so as to not spoil anything for people that don't want to be in the know. That's probably my favorite weapon that has been introduced just because it's so good. So good. Oh! Come on. Ah! Giant! Look, I appreciate you trying, but... And it's my fault that I'm screwing it up, but still. Understand my frustration here. Bazow. And yes, please. Actually, that is just a straight-up upgrade across the board. Can't be too disappointed with that at all. Now, I do need to go find the other cell door so I can re-up all of my potions. Am I going to use every single one of them by the end game? Probably not, but it's going to be nice to have them regardless. Any sort of good synergies or anything I could get on you? Actually, yes. Shockingly enough. Now, that is going to lower my gold count quite a bit, but I think I should still have more than enough to buy the eventual potion charge that I so crave. Probably. I suppose we'll see. I'm going to the Sepulchre next anyway, and as long as I don't encounter some particularly bad setups of trap rooms, you know what I'm talking about, I should be totally okay. Hello, it is me. And my good friend, the Giant. Alright, well, I guess let's do a little bit more exploring around while I'm waiting for my cooldowns to get back up. But as per usual with the Giant Fist, it remains extremely effective throughout the entire game. I had somebody point out that by the very end of the 5-cell difficulty, I was doing something like 2 million damage to the boss with a single Giant Fist, which is frustrating. Oh wait, no, that did actually hit something, but which is just great. That's a good feeling all around. Feel good story of the century. Hello. Good enough. No. Yes. I love it. I'm probably going to switch to Necromancy then after this, which I'm not going to get a tremendous amount of use out of. So yeah, why even bother? That's a good point. Well, anyway. Talk myself out of it. Make sure I get door advantage here, and it should be totally fine. Actually, why do I even need door advantage? It's not going to... Oh, that's why. Try to get him to jump away from me. Well, oh well, I guess considering the circumstances, that is just not going to work out now, is it? Anything else? Cavern? No, I said I wasn't going to be going to the cavern. Just because it's like that is... That is not the sort of run this one is. We're going to the Sepulchre. Although, again, oh, there is one area that I was missing over here. Yeah, I was thinking, it's like, I kind of canvassed this entire area, or at least I thought. But nope, not in fact the case. There is so much more to do. Well, not so much more. Whoa, dog! Wow! Okay, well, that's not a big deal. I'll just skip all the way back there. It'll be just fine. Alright, this is a good arbitrary place to pick right back up, because got a much better run going on, and... Oh, what's all this then? Flawless. That would be really nice to get, but, you know, not part of the run. Yeah, just at the end here, already got rid of all the cursed chests, and overall I have a pretty good run going here. Managed to find a lot of... challenge rifts as well as cursed chests. In the promenade, managed to get one, and I did take a slightly different route through the ossuary, which I think I was supposed to originally do anyway, but for some reason thought that I had to go through yeah, sure. For some reason thought I had to go through the ramparts instead. I don't remember why. Maybe it was because I was looking at a different suggestion. Oh well, doesn't really matter because I also have the heart this time, so that's sort of a slight mess up, slight issue will not be happening again. Or at least not in the same way. All right, let's go. This is going to be, honestly, a little bit tougher with the... Not really the one that I wanted to hit, but yeah. Going to be a little bit tougher with only using... the Giant Whistle here. Giant Whistle only hits a single enemy, And enemies that tend not to come in singles when you're in the Sepulchre. So, if I had something that could hit a bunch of enemies at once, which is to say almost every single weapon in the entire game, no problem at all. However, here it's going to be a lot of... Well, I'm going to try to make sure that it's not a lot of waiting around, but it might just turn into that anyway, worst comes to worst. Only one more curse chest, though, so if I die past this point, it's going to be due to my own incompetence and not just one bad hit. Didn't get both of them exploding, but didn't get hit either way, so that's just fine. Nah, not quite. Yeesh. A lot of dodging around. Oh, you know, I never mentioned this, but I did take the Hand of the King uniform because who else would be best to represent bosses if you are trying to become one unto yourself? I'd like to say you can't really choose a much better dude than the Hand himself. I mean, he's basically the boss version of the main character in a lot of ways, as I've observed before. Has a lot of the same sort of dress, and, you know, a lot of the same sort of attacks. You can get the symmetrical lance like him, but he also has a ground slam, shields, bombs. The usual thing you think of if you're trying to make a really good brutality run. Well, maybe not shield, but the dashing, like running headlong into danger is a very brutality type thing to do, so maybe a little bit? I don't know. Point is that I think it's a good choice. Wow, I was having some people saying putting on a sharpshooter modifier, and that's how they get that name in the first place, let me tell you. Anywho, yeah, just keep rolling here. I still don't... I'm hoping that... I mean, I got the heart here. I got potion charges. Everything like that. A lot of good stuff ready to go to really make fighting the giant work, but I still kind of have a question as to how good it's going to be. I might have to take out my... I mean, you know, you think about this. This is fist-based weaponry right now. It's just not my fist. It's another person's fist. So, it's kind of the same thing if you think about it. And not too hard. Don't think about it too hard. Then it falls apart. Ow. I'm gonna have to use one of those potion charges here, especially knowing that if I do happen to find any food, I am gonna get cursed immediately. And that's a problem. Yeah, there's an idea. If you want to go like a full-on fist weaponry-based run, you want to use the flint, you want to use the Hayabusa gauntlets, giant whistle, and... Oh, is there anything else that would work as far as like a skill goes? Oh, I suppose Tentacle would be good too, because you do get the rocket punch there. It's interesting that a lot of the fist weapons in the game are not really you punching enemies, except for the one that is, which could not be more you punching enemies. Like, it is unquestionable how much enemy punching the Hayabusa gauntlets requires you to do. 100% damage given and taken. No, that's too much. That's too much damage, both taken and given. I'm going to be hitting the damage cap very quickly, and that's going to be an issue when it comes to fighting the giant, especially. And to be honest, let's go for a little bit of extra health here, just because I am feeling that... Ooh. Well, I guess I don't really need it, do I now? Because I'm feeling that... not confident enough that I'm not just going to be hitting the giant's damage cap over and over and over again and dying in very minimal amount of hits. You know, I never knew that you could just punch the... I never knew that you could just punch the gold ore out of the way like that. I mean, I knew it was affected by stuff that would, like, kick it out of the way and all that, but in general, nothing causes... you know, you to push back things and not actually destroy them. Because it only has a single hit point, to its name. Well, there's the one time it happens. Goldor still does continue to take fall damage, though, like everything else in the game. Nothing can beat gravity. It remains the king of damage. Except against the main character, I suppose, which just stuns. But that's a damage in itself. Managing to screw up a jump to the point that you're taking that is also damaging to your pride, which is sometimes worse than HP damage, as I've proven many, many times throughout this series. Alright, let's continue rolling with a little bit of health. And then I want to just do this for this sake. Yep, that's exactly what I was hoping to happen. Excellent. I'm gonna still want to take a potion charge before I even get into the fight. And maybe even, well, you know what, not even maybe even, definitely reroll my mutations. I'm not going to be getting anything out of acceptance past this point, so might as well switch it out for more health. Maybe grab something along the lines of a, what am I even thinking of? Extended healing, I suppose, would be good. Maybe the... What else? Disengagement. In case I'm feeling a little not confident there. Can just, you know, rest easy knowing that I'll have some way of healing. Or not healing, some way of just being invincible for even a short amount of time. Masochist, maybe not take too much damage from the lava if I happen to fall into it. There's a few different options. Let's go with the stuff that I was saying earlier. Oh, I didn't realize you got a health flask before this fight. I just assumed it was going to be after. Don't really come here too much, period. But also, definitely not on 2-cell mode. Alright, come on. I'm going to give a real attempt here. I actually have to manually open that because I can't get the giant to punch it. Yep. It's got that issue where it doesn't actually do... The damage caps out too quickly because these are considered bosses by themselves. So it would either just be a lot of waiting around, which I'm going to do at least for a little bit. It is in the spirit of the run, if nothing else. But yeah, let's just say after the first phase when he had... Okay. Let's just say after the first phase, I will switch over into... Yeah. I'll switch over into using my other weapons. But until that point, I'll wait it out, and I'll at least give you a taste of what this would be like if I did this in a more traditional fashion. Yeah, I don't care about that hand charging up. I care about the other one. Let's get a little bit of stun time in on there, which is not too bad, but also will hit the giant out of attacks too, but that's only so helpful now, isn't it? Oh, well, good for practicing. Oh, boy. Nope, not quite. Oh, well. Gungeon has prepared me well for that sort of attack. See that thing like 5 times every single run. Okay, yeah. This is just going to be a slog, even if I do manage to complete it, and I kind of have my doubts here. So, as soon as I get the eye out, that's going to be the plan. All right. And you see how much damage that I currently have right now? I am like nearly at 30 points of survival. It's like, oh yes, of course. Oh, that is a really difficult attack to dodge. Come on now. Nope. Don't even. So yeah, unfortunately couldn't quite complete it in the exact way that the run should be. In the exact way described to me, but it's just the giant is very strong against his own attack, unlike maybe some of the other bosses here. It's an interesting way to go about doing it, but it's one that I will respect nonetheless. Okay, all right, and one more. Nope, don't get your third hit in on there. I will not deal with this. Ah, be careful. And that should do it. Unfortunately, not going to be able to punch the eye, and actually probably not even going to get all that much damage in on there because of that. Oops, 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 many, many oops. I knew that the giant was going to be the hardest part of this run. I want to say that going up against something like the Hand of the King is going to be comparatively easy. All right. Okay. Might require one more run to do, though, at this rate. Hey, stop charging up while you're freaking getting hurt here. Okay, fine, fine, fine. And come on. Oh, come on. I was so close to getting that. It was all I could have asked for. And okay. Oh, come on now. Anyway, I should be okay past this point. Youch. Yowzers wowzers, but it happened anyway. Yeah, I know the spiel. Oh, not what I'm looking for. Need to go get a symmetrical lance at this point in time. Out of potion charges, only halfway down on health. This is all a very sketchy time for me, but I think I can still pull out a win anyway, and if I can't, well, that's fine. I gave it the old cool leg try. In the meantime, let's just say dead inside and then go with necromancy. Yep. And then at least until I get a symmetrical lance, let's just say that I can destroy enemies with impunity. Please? Come on, I beat the giant here. That's not an easy task. I just ask a little bit of leniency in the run. If you, the court of public opinion, could possibly grant it to me. Come on, I know you can. You have that power. Besides, I also think that going into the last area using all three of the weapons would be a fun time too. I mean, that's appropriate for what we're looking at. If I was going to make any sort of judgment call on such a thing. You know, I wouldn't disagree that the... hate you. I wouldn't disagree that I think the Inquisitor was the more powerful and important to kill enemy there, but it's kind of surprising to me that the giant got him instead of, you know, the Guardian Knight, who tends to be quite the frustrating fellow in some ways. Okay. And with like 1% healed each time I kill an enemy, not having any problem dealing with healing. I hope I can actually get the proper weapon before all of this, before the end of this run at this rate. Yes, you can see that, like, I was very, very clearly capping out on damage when it came to fighting the giant. That is very obvious. Up, right into the thing. Right into the spikes. Can't say it's unexpected if you've ever watched anything that I've ever made before. All right, what else we got going on? And the stun time will also be good for you, and the shockwave alone will probably take out you. Ah, not quite, but close. Huh? Oh, guess I didn't get it fully charged up. Okay, come on now, come on. You know what I'm looking for. If nothing else, by the time that I get to the Hand of the King, I should have the Symmetrical Lance, just because of... You get the 3 items at the very end if you get all 3 keys. And that's not going to be too difficult of a thing to do, I think. There we are. The important thing is that I'm using it on the boss. And that was kind of the important thing when the run was set out in the first place, so... I feel like I'm at least making a lot of excuses to try to excuse why I'm doing this. And I hope they're working. So yeah, justified in that way, really. Right into the spikes, eh? Well, too bad for you. Ah. No, neither of them are up just yet. If I could get up shop, that would also be the ideal way to go about doing this too. That was not really the most important enemy to be fighting there. Guardian Scroll down there. I should go get that. But aside from that, yeah, I only got one more mini-boss left, and it's one of the least important out of any of them, so I'm not particularly worried. I really do not need any more survival. And I say that also knowing that I'm going to be fighting the Hand of the King, which means that I can't use the Giant Fist here. But until that point... Even then, the damage should probably be okay. I've completed a number of runs on 2 cells only with only a single weapon. Wait, why am I even bombing? Yeah. Still an amusing... Still has not lost its novelty yet, has it? Okay, 3 keys. Let's get to the end here, wherever that may or may not be. Oh, I can actually see it right above me there. So it should be... quite easy to make the quick jaunt. And then, come on. There we go. All right, just replace this, sure. One more extra. You know what? I don't need that help. Whatever. I don't. Just even forget about it. Does not matter. And let's see if on 0 potion charges, using the Symmetrical Lance only, I can beat the Hand. I don't know. All I can say is that feeling pretty good. Let's just go very, very conservative. I do have the heart. Don't forget that I have the heart, so even if it's looking very bad, I'll be able to recover in one way or another due to that alone. Let's go. First phase is always going to be pretty easy, but it's the other 2 that I'm worried about. Yeah, that's okay damage. It's not like it's amazing, though. Okay, good. I thought that looked a little bit funky, but... Ooh, that's a not great elite to get there, and also not great for me to fall directly into that either. All right, Lance fight. Okay. Disengagement and the heart are here. So if nothing else, I do have some protection. Only a moderate amount. Only a moderate amount, but it's okay nonetheless. Third phase. 50% health. It's not like amazing. Ain't too bad, though. Just kind of be a little bit careful. Because I don't really want to get bombed on, and I know that's a real possibility. Ah, don't fall into the spike pit. That would be très bad. Ah, not quite. Let's be a little bit cautious. Who's the boss now? It's me! I take that position from you with honor and dignity. No potion charges either. Didn't even have to use my heart. I feel pretty satisfied with this run. Yeah, I know it's only 2-cell mode, but come on, that was no easy feat.